Okay, so let's call to order the workshop meeting for February 15th, 2022 at 5:05 PM. Roll call.
Councilmember Lescoviec.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Here.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Is excused.
Councilmember Nichols.
Here.
Councilmember Aguilar-D'Amico.
Here. Pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, let's start off, Mayor, communication from the mayor. Any last? I got nothing. Thank you, sir. Communication from the public and petitions.
Number one, notice of claim from James O'Connell for damages done to home structure, roof, and porch when a tree that belonged to the city allegedly fell on the house.
Any discussion, council?
It was taken care of by DPW, Randy, the tree.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it should be referred to the law department so that they can handle it with the insurance company, and DPW will work with the law department on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as the usual.
So moved.
Second.
Number two, request from Corey Ahlstrom on behalf of Fury Softball to use Promenschenko Stadium the weekend of August 7th through 5th, 5th through 7th, 2022, for a 14U girls softball event that will consist of 12 to 16 teams from Rochester to Erie, PA.
Any discussion?
Yes, I do. That's a good amount of teams coming in for basically a high school age softball tournament. And what they're doing, they're getting a package together because these teams are coming from, like you just said, Erie, Buffalo. There's probably only going to be one or two teams from this area playing in that tournament. So they're going to spend some time here that weekend. And hopefully they're going to do some lodging here. And of course they're going to go out and want to eat and see our beautiful beaches and stuff like that. So I talked to Vince before the meeting and EJ, and they said they're already ahead of it. They're going to help out Corey Austin with this to market some of the things that we have going on here. So I think that's a great idea. I mean, kudos to them and that whole group for doing that, bringing some people in with families. It just ain't like one of your regular middle softball tournaments we have where they play for the weekend and it's just 2 or 3 people come with them. This is families coming in and hopefully they can spend a good amount of time here. So I'm all for that. And
Excellent.
they're going to use 2 fields, possibly 3 fields, so that's going to be busy down there at Wright Park.
Good, very nice. Any other discussion? Okay, can I have a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve of appropriate insurances? Councilmember Bomano?
Nichols.
Nichols on the second. Thank you. Okay, reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions.
As chair of the Economic Development Committee, I want to address resolution number 23 as part of our agenda today. It's a resolution to use some of the stimulus funds for a feasibility study as a beginning step towards an Amtrak station. Because of vision and foresight, I humbly request council to vote yes. Our city has such potential that will be realized with time, such as the amazing plans for the NRG plan, that we will want to seize this opportunity while we have the backing and help from the Senate, SUNY Fredonia, and area citizens, as well as finally getting some attention from Amtrak. And First Ward citizens, please call me at 716-467-5145 regarding potholes. I'm developing a list to give the DPW to address in the spring, and if you see me riding around, this is why.
Thank you. Councilman Bomano?
Yeah,
Yes.
right. You said you had an update on 325 Eagle Street?
Yeah, you'd asked about that last couple council meetings.
Yep.
We did make contact with the owner, and they are working on clearing that. There's already been some materials removed of the vehicle and some miscellaneous garbage, so we're working towards getting that cleaned up.
Sounds good. You got 3 big items out of the way.
Yeah.
So keep pounding. Thank you very much. That's all I have for you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nichols?
Nothing for here.
Thank you. I have nothing either. We'll go into, then go to Vince.
there's no unfinished business, we go to 3-5.
Okay.
Number 20, resolution authorizing sale of Stagelski Road property.
Any discussion, council?
If anybody wants to speak on it.
This is just wrapping up what we started last year. Pump station had a fire. We found out there were 2 business users in the town of Dunkirk. They use it, the city owned it, but it was essentially because of federal grant money that came through in the early 80s. So it's something that now most business owners and property owners do themselves in the commercial realm. So essentially, the owners of the 2 warehouses got together and they got CCIDA funding to privatize that station and modernize it, because it was outdated anyway. So they're purchasing that, and this is just approving the final purchase, which should be happening later this week, just to execute our closing documents.
Thank you. Will you do another explanation during the meeting?
Sure.
So that, in case anybody doesn't watch the workshop?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, and 21?
Resolution authorizing ARPA stimulus fund use allocation.
Any discussion, council? Pretty straightforward. Okay, hearing none, let's go to 22.
Number 22, resolution authorizing purchase of 1 VAC-all for Department of Public Works.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to mention that we do have a proposal through the county to the state. If the shared services grant, it's an opportunity to purchase this item and share it with other municipalities. So that is in. It may have an impact on how much we actually pay for this item.
Good. I like to hear shared services.
I would just like to go back to resolution 21 there. I think when it comes time for the meeting that we need to say what the stimulus money is going to be spent on for the fireboat. So that people do know that it is.
Chief, when we get into that, can we just get a quick update? Sure. Exactly, a bridge version. I know you did it at the last workshop, but just again, in the meeting, make sure everybody's aware. Thank you. Okay, any other comments on 22? If not, 23?
Number 23, resolution authorizing ARPA stimulus fund use allocation, multimodal transportation hub feasibility study.
Any discussion on that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ms.
We want Amtrak to put a stop here. What runs through here is their Lakeshore Limited line, which includes New York, Boston, Albany, Buffalo, Cleveland, Toledo, and Chicago, essentially, with many stops in between. There are currently no routes this far north to Florida. Closest would be New York City to Miami, which is their silver service line. Therefore, there would need to be a transfer. Is this something we could discuss with Amtrak? An easier route for snowbirds around here to reach Florida?
First things first, let's see if they're willing to put a stop here.
Okay.
And before we start creating new routes for Amtrak, I think that's, putting the cart before the horse. We need a station here and a stop here.
Okay. What I'd like to do is, I know you have a presentation.
That's just going to be as brief, just a couple of
Yeah.
slides here.
What I would like to do is when we actually get into the meeting, I would like to bring that up so you can do a brief presentation. Everybody's briefed, everybody's on the same page.
Sure.
Okay?
In the meeting in there or in here?
I'd like to do it at the meeting, at the regular meeting if we could. Is that possible? So if you want to.
It's documented, and
Right.
we need to have it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if we need,
I don't know if we need to do that, but if he can do just the regular.
yeah, if you want to do a brief presentation now of what you have, and then
Yeah.
we go back
Sure.
in and put it back out publicly, yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Would you like me to go forward now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. EJ? So yes, as Councilwoman just mentioned about Amtrak, basically to put in a stop here. And since my first days here in the Department of Development, one of the topics and issues that I've had so many people ask about, including President Colison from SUNY Fredonia is, can we work on getting an Amtrak stop here? And this is an opportune time because there's $1.2 trillion in the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, and Amtrak is going to be receiving somewhere in the neighborhood of $66 billion to develop new stops, buy new train sets, and so forth. And this is probably the most opportune time. We have a very strong collaboration working group with SUNY Fredonia. And what they're looking to do is attract more students from downstate. It's an easier way to travel for their students, and to try to reach students west from Cleveland and Pennsylvania and so forth, because they have tuition agreements with those states to offer in-state tuition. So it's another way to enhance enrollment at SUNY Fredonia and bring more people, students to this area. An Amtrak stop will greatly benefit Immunity Bio, who has expressed strong interest and support. I actually spoke last week before the Economic Development Committee meeting last Wednesday with CEO Richard Adcock from Immunity Bio out in California, and he's like, do you have a letter for me to sign right now? We are in strong support of this as a way to connect both directions to Immunity Bio as they're trying to build a biotechnology hub here in Dunkirk. It'll connect Dunkirk to Cleveland, which, as we heard from Mr. Roy Davis, is becoming more of a national hub for Amtrak that will go to various directions, either across the country or a north-south direction to Florida. Senator Schumer actually called, he didn't call us, but his chief regional director called us as soon as they saw the article in the paper and said, we are very supportive and we want to do all that we can to help, whether it's entrees to Amtrak, CSX, and so forth, anywhere where he can be of help, lending his support, he is on board. And other elected officials have expressed interest in helping support such a concept. We now have better opportunity to acquire properties on the north side of the tracks with some demolitions and some available sites that could potentially serve as this Amtrak multimodal train station. Now, we're not talking a full-scale train station, more of a small station with restrooms, restroom, vending, kiosk for tickets, a platform for the passengers that will be reached by a stair tower and elevators. And also make it multimodal for carts, for over-the-road buses, for ride sharing, for bike sharing. Could potentially be a trailhead to link up basically the waterfront, being so close to the waterfront. So we see that as a positive in that respect. It also enhancement for tourism opportunities and cut down on the drive for local travelers using Amtrak to Depew. It will help make the waterfront more accessible and attractive to visitors. The feasibility study is needed for a couple of reasons. One, it won't be an academic type of exercise to say, well, yes, Dunkirk is great for all these reasons for a stop. This is going to be more of a consultative type of operation where our consultants that we're looking to engage, Stone Consulting out of Warren, Pennsylvania, where this is their specialty. It's an engineering firm out of Warren that I have personally worked with on other train issues, and they're going to be meeting with CSX, they're going to be meeting with Amtrak and try to pave the way for this, and with New York State Department of Transportation. So proposing sites and passenger platform design and infrastructure that is needed. So basically this is really not a huge investment for what could be a huge return if we can get this station built.
Okay, thank you.
My concern is 21 years ago, they did a feasible study on this and it did not prevail to be very worthwhile for the city of Dunkirk. We had more of a population with the census that Mayor Rosa said a couple of months ago, that our census for the city is down, and also the college is at its all-time low for enrollment there. And when the kids usually come in to the college, they usually drive. They drive, or the parents drive for them. I'm just trying to fathom. My daughter works at the college, and she sees all the students coming in and out. I'm having a hard time grasping how this would be beneficial to the city of Dunkirk. I mean, if you're going to be as a tourist, I know, as I talked to Natalie on Saturday, that I told her more people are utilizing the Amtrak going north to south. They drive to Virginia, get on the train in Virginia, and they transport their vehicle to Florida, and it takes them to Comiskey.
That is one group of people, but there's I'm sure there's another cohort, more than one cohort, that would use Amtrak. In terms of that feasibility study that was done in 2001, it basically was looking at the feasibility of using that existing terminal there for CSX.
Correct.
It really wasn't feasible. Track configuration, where the track came in, the building is basically in disrepair, and so that's basically the reason. It was more of a feasibility study for that site and that building. In terms of SUNY Fredonia, you may be correct. Those from Long Island, they make the 10-hour drive or whatever it is to get to Dunkirk with their children to drop off on, both the pickup and the bringing. But when students travel back downstate, and I know this from going to an upstate SUNY school, many of my friends back in 40 years ago took the train from Rochester. They'd have to find a way up to Rochester to get down to Long Island. So this is another tool for SUNY Fredonia to use to attract more students.
The other part that I have concerns with is the train comes through here, 4 to 5, 6 o'clock in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean.
In one direction.
In one direction, correct. Yeah. When is it, I believe there's earlier ones, but they're also looking to make another daytime run with this thing.
I have a question. I like the idea that it's going to Cleveland, and I heard it's going all the way to Utica. Also, I mean, some people in here at a certain age remember when you used to go see the Indians play from here. Right here, you go see a doubleheader in Cleveland, and there's a lot of things going on in Cleveland, so that would be a nice way to do it. I like the college thing, but I do have a question about the feasibility study and the 20,000. Because the colleges are hot on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
JCC, Fredonia State, are they willing to be a partner?
20,000 isn't going to complete everything we need. This is a good start to get this project off the ground, to get us to the point where there could be design and engineering. I think that's where we're building a coalition of partners. I did the same thing in Jamestown. We had a $60,000 study. Jamestown put in $30,000. I went out and got money from Erie County Industrial Development, Chautauqua County Industrial Development, from railroads that had an interest in seeing a rail. So there's a lot of interest in this, and I feel very strongly that we will be able to recruit and bring in more partners that will help us to get it to a point where we can apply for grant funding.
So out there you can say that you believe that Fredonia State and JCC would be willing to help us financially.
I think that there will be partners. I don't want to identify exactly, who and how much, but it's been done before, and I feel that, we have the same opportunity. Hey, look, if we don't do this, it'll just be, you'll never have this opportunity again. Dunkirk will never even be considered for another
Just
stop.
being the financial chairman, I was looking at somebody else help us out. With the-
Mr. Chairman,
being a partner with
if I can chime in too, this is going to be a very competitive process. Westfield is actually competing for this. I talked with Senator Borrello, and I've asked him to support this. And he's in a little bit of a pickle because Westfield is also part of this district. But when we talked about the SUNY Fredonia and the benefit, this will have a regional impact, and the city will benefit in so many different ways. There's a lot of major employers that are looking for staff members that they don't have now. So that's another factor that should be considered here. And as far as having partners, the 20,000 is the seed that we can use to get more partners to come on board in this initiative. If this council feels that it's not good money to spend on it, then we can end discussion and move on to something else. But in my opinion, that this is a small amount of money to use as seed funds to get other partners for this initiative. Again, the goal here is to bring Amtrak in. Amtrak is receiving federal funds. Schumer is supporting this, and if we get the state to support it, I find it hard to believe that it can't happen. So,
Mayor, can you or Vince or both of you sort of just state what you said, there's going to be some other partners coming down the road helping out?
again, the regional impact that we'll have is huge. SUNY Fredonia is definitely interested. Obviously, they're connected to the state. JCC as well is going to be interested. But we're talking about Immunity Bio. We're talking about people like Refresco. We're talking about Purina. We're talking about the steel mill. These are all folks, Wells, that are looking for staff members. They're short-staffed as it is. This is a huge opportunity for them to partner up with us and could help them in their main issue is getting more staff members and more people here. So,
I don't mean to interrupt you, and I'm trying to wrap my head around this because I still think $20,000 is a lot of money. And I'll come back to again to say we did a feasibility study, and I understand that was a while ago, but I don't see where the help comes from that because the train only comes through once a day.
well, we don't know if they're going to be, what their schedule is going to be. Things are changing right now. They were just awarded billions of dollars. So everything's going to be changing here, and we want to be a part of that change. That's what it's about. This feasibility study that happened over 20 years ago, that's history. That's no good. It's not good.
And the feasibility was on a building
Right.
site,
Okay.
not on basically.
Trying to get a clarification.
Before I was interrupted before, 4 people ago, by Mr. DeJoy, I didn't finish. By doing the, and this is trying to convince people that have negative thoughts of not saying yes to this resolution, is this $20,000 going to commit us to anything other than the feasibility?
No, at this point, no. This is just to see if Amtrak is willing to have
Look
a
at
stop
Dunkirk.
here in Dunkirk. It could cost less. It may stop there, and we may not need to spend the entire amount of money that would be allocated. It could stop there. It could stop at CSX. It could stop anywhere. But that's what this process will tell us if there is potential for Amtrak to designate Dunkirk as a stop on their line.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Amtrak has built stations before. They said that they'll pay the first 2 years of operational, and any year after that, if there's any shortfall, I think New York State has funds. But I just wanted to put it in perspective in a way where 1 million seconds is like 30, like I don't know, just at a ballpark is like maybe 2 minutes, and 1 billion is like 40 minutes. So that's a lot of money, 66 billion. I don't think we'll ever get this opportunity again where they could take an interest in us. And they have the money to take an interest. That's a lot.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 24?
Number 24, resolution authorizing execution of boardwalk lease for new tenant Myrna Zanetti, DBA Shorties on the Pier.
Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none. 25?
Number 25, resolution authorizing a public hearing regarding community development block grant COVID-19 response.
Any discussion? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, great idea to help small businesses that have been affected by COVID. However, I'll ask at the meeting if someone would kindly explain air quality in public facilities as a...
We have slides for that, actually. so-
Oh, okay, so I won't ask then. I won't ask.
Okay, we can
Okay.
you can ask.
And I was just wondering why not for our antiquated pipes, and I know you had given me that answer, but I thought you might want to, because people will be saying, well, something else is more important. But I won't ask that question if that's going to be covered then.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other comments? Okay.
We,
Go ahead.
we have a couple of slides on that program too, if you'd like me to kind of go through quickly what the parameters of the program
Sure,
are.
that's fine.
EJ? Yeah, so this is an opportunity that just came before us about 2 weeks ago. And there's $78 million CDBG funds under the Coronavirus Aid Relief and Economic Securities Act to help communities throughout the state to safely reopen and restart local economies in the wake of COVID-19. This comes directly from the request for applications. So eligible activities include supporting small businesses, improving air quality in public facilities, and as you can see, the other three, housing for safe shelter, conversion of underutilized buildings for affordable housing, and public services. Of those, we felt that, and our consultant felt that we have the best opportunity for funding in those areas. And one of the other criteria is that these projects need to be completed within 12 months. The reason that we're here before you is the application and program guidelines require a public hearing before the legislative body with a quorum present, and we're looking to do that at the next council meeting. So the Small Business Assistance Program, we're in the very beginning stages of working with our consultant to put together a framework for what this would look like, but we kind of have just a general high-level view of it right now. We're looking to create a program that has 100% grants up to $60,000 per business with 25 or fewer employees. There's some criteria that they need to demonstrate how they were negatively impacted with perhaps loss of revenue, loss of profits, or they needed to shut down, and they just need to be able to demonstrate that negative impact. So the grant amount would be tied to employment additions and retention, and would have to address improvements that support customer and staff safety and improve business resiliency related to future occurrences of the virus or other disasters. So new uses could include new equipment or furniture or fixtures to guide social distancing, technology to increase efficiency and implement post-COVID business practices, or working capital or resume operations. So in that, we're trying to discern what exactly can and can't be is eligible, and we're going to actually be meeting with HCR early next week to pitch the program that we're looking to put together with our consultants at Harrison Studio. The other one that we're looking at is improving air quality in public facilities. As one of the examples, they show the city request these funds to remove and replace emergency generator in addition to HVAC system improvements at the police and fire department building. So we're in the midst of trying to put together some potential projects that could fit into that. We're actually going to be looking at the senior center because that was specifically mentioned in this application packet to help senior centers and also other public type of facilities to improve air quality. So this is a big win. If we are awarded it, we can potentially provide a lot of money quickly on the street to help companies that have been negatively affected and by buying equipment, furniture, fixtures, and so forth.
Thank you. Okay, new business. The walk-in.
ARPA stimulus fund use allocation. I can read that. There's walk-in resolution number 26, 2022, February 15, 2022, by council members Monto, Nichols, and Laskoviac. ARPA stimulus fund use allocation, whereas Congress passed the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, which provides funds to state, counties, and municipalities to use for certain eligible uses and expenses, and whereas the City of Dunkirk's administration and the Common Council have identified several uses eligible under ARPA regulations and have approved them. And whereas per mutual consent, said funds shall be utilized in the following manner. Amount $134,170 additional citywide cameras, $41,232 scanning indexing of cities' archived vital statistic records, and 43,300 lawnmowers. Therefore, be it resolved that the council approves the allocation of ARPA stimulus funds used as outlined above.
Any questions, council?
And I'd just like to add that at a recent DPW meeting, all this information was discussed, and we were in agreement on it at the meeting.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, move on to adjournment. Got a motion by Nichols and a second by Councilwoman Laskoviac.
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto. Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at large D'Amico.
Aye, adjourn.
Did you want me to read that in there too?
Yeah.
Chris's shoulders today.
If you don't want one, you can just grab it.
Well, I mean, I need to see it.
Steve from,
Oh, yeah, from Jerry Springer. And then he got his own show.
Yeah.
Get your own show.
And again, I think if we got into a situation where we need to see something, go to my office. No, it is different. I mean, I think I told you the other day, I'm interested in more than I am.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what it comes to. We were, Randy and I were driving on the street and talking. I drove there and I started looking at the poll numbers. I'm like, oh my God.
Hello?
Call to order the Common Council meeting for February 15th, 2020. It is 5:43 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Here.
Councilmember Stoyl.
Is excused.
Councilmember Nichols.
Here.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Here. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, certification of prior meeting, resolution dispensing with minutes of the, reading of the minutes of the meeting.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, February 1st, 2022 was presented to the mayor on Tuesday, February 8th, 2022. Pursuant to Section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and the seal of the city of Dunkirk, New York, this 15th day of February 2022.
So moved. So moved.
I need a motion to remove, the motion to dispense.
Dispense.
Yep. And I got a motion by Councilwoman Nichols, second by Laskoviac. Roll.
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye. Carried. Reading of the privilege of the floor regulations. Yes, sir.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case that individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name and your address. The city clerk shall have the duty of maintaining such time limits, and the councilman at-large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups. Councilman at-large D'Amico shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste, are slanderous, or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. The time limits above shall be strictly adhered to, except that a speaker may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time has expired.
Thank you. Floor is open. Please state your name and address.
Ned Devine, 618 Main Street, Dunkirk, New York. I come to specifically to speak on resolution number 23 about the expending some ARPA funds for a feasibility study for an Amtrak. Looking at Amtrak, if I just wish everybody was there for that presentation that the Economic Development Committee had. It was an awesome presentation. Had you been there, I think all would say that this is really, a good way to spend some ARPA money, and it's examining the interest. It's making sure that this would be a positive thing for the city. It's not, we're not sure that it is, but you would have to expend some money. Businesses have expressed interest in it. There was a large group of people at that meeting, all very excited about what they heard. The college made a presentation at that meeting. There was other members of the economic development community. Maybe if you could express a little bit about the various members that were there. It was definitely a shared kind of a concept, and I'm really hoping that people see the way clear to expend what would amount to 7% of what was spent on well-needed salary enhancement package out of the ARPA funds. This is a very small portion of the ARPA money. It's $20,000. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Marie Tomlinson. I live in Fredonia. Roy Davis, many years ago, tried to bring a station to Dunkirk. And we formed a little committee to try and bring a station here. We formed this before COVID. So we've been we were doing good before COVID, but then, anyway, this is the brochure I made. Here's where, as you can see, we put Dunkirk on the map. Right here, this is the map of the Lakeshore Limited. So we could put Dunkirk on the map, literally on the Amtrak map. Because Dunkirk is on Coach USA's bus line. Coach USA has 4 buses that run from Buffalo to Jamestown every day. And that would mean that people in Jamestown could come to Dunkirk to get on the train. There was, years ago, with the last study that they did, they estimated there would be 10,000 riders a year. 10,000 extra people coming to Dunkirk. I'm just like, okay. There's another train that is being proposed to run between Cleveland and Albany. And that train would run 3 times a day. So that would be someone from Cleveland could theoretically get on the train, come to Dunkirk, have a nice dinner, go swimming, maybe stay at the Clarion, and then go home the next day at a decent time of day, not at, it's 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. A lot of money is going into preparing infrastructure. And we have a really good opportunity to have a station here. I hope that the city will invest this $20,000 that you need. And I want to give you the example of SUNY Fredonia. When Old Main was being built back in 1860-something, there was a big competition to see where the school would go. And the winning place had to build the building at their own expense. So when Old Main, you know what I mean, the money to build that had to be made locally. But look at the benefit it's been to Fredonia to have the college there. So yeah, this is an investment, but it will benefit you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, I'll leave the pamphlets up here.
Would anyone else like to speak? Going once? Twice? 3 times, privilege of the floor is closed. Okay, communication from the mayor, including disapproval messages.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing today.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to communication from the public and petitions.
Notice of claim from James O'Connell for damages done to home structure, roof, and porch when a tree that belonged to the city allegedly fell on the house.
Okay. Any discussion, council? And none. There was a motion. Motion was made to refer to the appropriate departments as well as appropriate insurances by Councilwoman Nichols and a seconded by Councilmember Bamanto.
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye. Carried.
Number 2, request from Corey Ahlstrom on behalf of Fury Softball to use Prom and Schenkel Stadium the weekend of August 5th through 7th, 2022 for a 14U girls softball event that will consist of 12 to 16 teams from Rochester to Erie, Pennsylvania.
Any discussion?
Councilman?
Go ahead, Councilman.
This tournament that Corey's leading, Corey Austin's leading, and a group of other people, this is going to bring a lot of people into our community for that 3-day event. They're using 3 fields down by Wright Park, and they're not just going to be 1 or 2 teams from around here. Maybe that's all we'll get, 1 or 2 or 3 teams from around here, but all these teams are coming in, as he stated, from Rochester area to Erie and in between. And the hopes is to have these people, as many as they can, come down with their families and stay in a hotel and stay for the weekend and go down and visit our harbor front and our beaches. And they're putting together with our development department, EJ and Vince, putting together a welcome package and sort of give them an idea of what we have here so they can get the ball rolling and get in here. So kudos to them and development department for helping out, and hopefully we'll have a lot of people here and spend some time in our city and showcase our city for them.
Thank you.
I would just like to add on to Marty's, but I think maybe if it's feasibly possible and we have money that we could possibly put in like a welcome banner across the city for that amount of people that are coming in here.
Not a bad idea. Okay, if there's nothing else, we have a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approval of the insurances and the usual conditions by Councilmember Bomano and seconded by Councilwoman Nichols.
Councilmember Leskoviak?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
Aye, carried. Reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilwoman Leskoviak.
Yes, as Chairman of the Economic Development Committee, I want to address Resolution Number 23 as part of our agenda today. It's a resolution to use some of the stimulus funds for a feasibility study as a beginning step towards an Amtrak station. Because of vision and foresight, I humbly request Council to vote yes. Our city has such potential that will be realized with time, such as the amazing plans for the NRG plant, that we will want to seize this opportunity while we have the backing and/or help from the Senate, SUNY Fredonia, Immunity Bio, etc., and area citizens, as well as finally the site of Amtrak. And during the committee, we found out that Amtrak builds stations. They fund or pay the first 2 years of operational costs, and New York State has a fund that if there's any shortfall thereafter, which I've heard there hasn't been, they will pay for the cost of any shortfall. And also, First Ward citizens, please call me at 716-467-5145 regarding potholes. I'm developing a list to give the DPW to address in the spring, and if you see me riding around, this is why. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bomano.
Al, you have a update for me on the 300 block of Eagle Street, that house?
Yeah, I think you'd mentioned at the last council meeting concern about some debris at that location. We did reach out to the owner, and they are working on cleaning it up. There's a licensed vehicle or two that have been removed and some other miscellaneous items, so we're progressing nicely.
Well, thank you for staying on top of it.
No problem.
I appreciate it. I've got an announcement, in case people need to know or want to know. There is a rec center that we have up at the fairgrounds. We haven't been talking about that in a long time, and that's been open probably since late November into December. And I did talk to Patty Brzezinski the other day about it, and they got full programming going up there. We have youth soccer going up there for the kids, different ages, and adult things going on up there, with the baseball teams in there. And it's open 7 days a week. It's going to be open until April 24th. So if you want to utilize any of the time slots up there, please call the rec department. And Randy, thank you very much for the help on that resident up on near the point.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nichols.
Yes, just to add to Marty's, the rec center also can be rented out for birthday parties, so you don't have to worry about having your house totally destroyed and clean up. You can bring cakes in, and you can bring bikes in. Patty can give you a list of things, of do's and don'ts at the Parks Department, 366-9885. I know at our DPW meeting recently, we touched base on the 6th Street issue on the side of the road where they did the digging. And I don't know, Randy, if Mike or you had reached out to the contractors there to do some filling in on the sides that would be hazardous to our plows and vehicles.
Sure. I could,
I'm glad that the contractor, H&K, has proceeded with that project through the winter. We have two elements of the consent order that started in 2009 that we're going to finish up so that we have our water plant is state-of-the-art. It is state-of-the-art, but we did a couple more pieces to get that consent order lifted. So the positive part is they're moving ahead for good water service to all the area that's had low pressure, and also high-quality fire protection in that area that hasn't had it at all before. So there is some trenching done on Roosevelt Avenue over to Taft, and also on 6th Street that'll go all the way to Brigham Road. Mike and I will work with the contractor to make sure that's leveled every day. It is something that we share your concern on, but it's a good contractor. We're happy to work with them, and we'll keep a vigilant eye on that to make sure it's safe.
And I know the residents there are concerned because of the unlevelness of the road. They didn't quite understand if they could have just done like a little top fill of something to make it more level so that they're not damaging their vehicles. And I know there's a concern with the plows and that when they come through.
The Streets Department and the Water Department, we're working on patching that up today.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I drove down on Main Street yesterday, and the most wonderful sight to see is the tear-down fencing that's by the dry cleaners, the shoe repair, and the bike shop. Do you, Alan, can you give us an estimate when that's going to come down?
Should be within the month. I think March 15th is when it's required
March
to be
15th,
demolished.
wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Been a long time coming. We have a tree list of trees that need to be come down, and they've been on for quite some time. And I know after one of the claims today, I don't know if all the trees that are on the list have been addressed as yet. Does anybody have that information? Mike, Randy?
There's quite a list. We are starting some of the trees in-house now that they're not plowing and stuff like that, so the Streets Department's been out working on that. We have a separate list through Kravitz they're getting checked off as the weather and stuff allows.
Well, I know with spring coming around, it's around the corner with the winds that we've been getting of late. We just don't need any more issues and claims.
Agreed.
I have one question for the mayor, and rumor has it in town that we're looking at having a meat market where the old P&G building is. Do you have any insight on that?
No, the property is privately owned. We have had discussions with the owner for quite some time now since he purchased it. That is an idea that he wants to pursue, but there is no update at this point.
Okay. My last one, Richard, you might have information on that building that's on the corner of Washington and Lakeshore Drive by the municipal parking lot. They bought it, and they were going to do offices and possibly small businesses on the bottom floor.
Oh, you talking about the old Macaroni building?
Yes.
I defer to Vince on that one.
I would be glad to. Thank you. That building has a Restore New York, $1 million Restore New York grant that was awarded to the city, which was fabulous. It's been a long time in the development process. Recently, we've requested from the state to extend that grant because the project hadn't gone forward. The owner and developer is actually looking to team up with a very large Western New York developer that's more adept to adaptive reuse projects, historic tax credits. So that one is hopefully gonna happen here this year, but we're still waiting on that. But
I know
it's farther along than it's been in a long time. So
Yes.
thanks for asking.
I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. The only thing I have, Randy, Mike, with the thaw coming tomorrow, I can speak for myself. I might see my Christmas tree that was under 2 feet of snow. Maybe we make another couple passes around for the rest of us that have been buried?
Absolutely. The glacier kind of came in and it caught us by surprise.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I have nothing further. Okay, let's move on. We'll go to unfinished business. Nothing that I know of. And brief file. So we'll go to number 20.
Number 20, resolution authorizing sale of Stigalski Road property.
Any discussion, council?
Richard, do you want to explain what that is?
This is just a culmination. Again, we had a fire a little over a year ago at the Stigalski Creek Pump Station, which was a unique project where the city was providing fire protection for two major warehouses, used to be larger businesses. One was a printing company, and the other was the one that made the shovels.
True Temper, yeah.
True Temper. And that was with federal funds in the mid-'80s. The fire, after the engineers and Randy and I as well looked at it, the station was already dated. The equipment needed upgrade. So what was decided in order to move that forward is the two owners of the warehouses got together and applied to CCIDA for funds to purchase and upgrade not only the station but some of their own property that they currently own. So they moved that into it, and that money's been approved. And the sale of the property is moving forward later this week, so we just need authorization from the mayor to sign the closing documents, and we're good to go.
And that property will be on the tax roll then?
That property will be owned by them, yep, so it will go on the tax roll, and that will obviate the need for us to be in the business of providing fire protection for those buildings that we handling that themselves.
Thank you.
Moving forward.
Any other questions, council? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Laskoviac?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto? Aye. Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
Aye. Carried.
Number 21, resolution authorizing ARPA stimulus fund use allocation, 25-foot safe boat.
Okay, council, before we get into discussion, can I ask Chief Edwards just to speak very briefly on this, give us an oversight?
Sure, thank you. This boat will be a replacement to our current fireboat, which the city acquired as a surplus boat over 15 years ago from the Coast Guard. It's a 27-foot safe boat. Safe Boat's a company that is the primary manufacturer for the Coast Guard, Border Patrol, Homeland Security, and many police and fire services around the world. This boat will provide us with a safe, reliable, and adaptive boat for our water rescue team to use. It'll also give us capabilities beyond what we have now. We'll have fire suppression capabilities on the water. Like I said, we don't have that with our current boat. And it also will give us a boat that is much more user-friendly for our divers and our surface water swimmers. With the money that's available now, this is something we've been working on actually for several years to try to find funding for to replace this boat. This boat our current boat is currently at the end of its service, so we had to replace it. So this gives us that opportunity, and I believe that this boat is well suited for the fire department.
Thank you, Chief. Council, any discussion?
Just how long will it be before the boat is able to be in Dunkirk?
Well, that is dependent on when the order is placed, because that changes on a daily basis. The manufacturer, like most manufacturers now, are very flexible to what they have as far as materials coming in. So when you place the order, they're going to be able to give us a better timeline on that. Normally we would have that timeline before the order's placed so that we know, but nobody's able to do that right now because they have to estimate their raw materials coming in order for them to build it. We're hoping to get it obviously sometime this summer.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, nothing further? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Laskoviac?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
Number 22, resolution authorizing purchase of one vac all for Department of Public Works.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Luskowiak.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico.
Aye, carried.
Number 23, resolution authorizing ARPA stimulus fund use allocations, multimodal transportation hub feasibility study.
Discussion, council?
Mark, can you give us a little update on what this is all about?
Yes, thank you, Councilman. This project arose from, basically has been a community-driven, people in the railroad enthusiasts and so forth that have wanted to see a train station Amtrak stop here in Dunkirk for a number of years. SUNY Fredonia approached the mayor and has been working with the mayor for the past year or so to form a collaboration between the college and the city to investigate whether we can convince Amtrak to incorporate a stop here in Dunkirk for the Lakeshore Limited and other potential new trains that will be coming scheduled service that could be passing through this. So this will be very beneficial to the college to attract students both from the east and the west. It could be very beneficial to local businesses, especially Immunity Bio, who has expressed a very strong support for the project and was willing to provide a letter of support right off the bat from their CEO. Senator Chuck Schumer has also volunteered to help spearhead this campaign to Amtrak. So what basically this feasibility study would be, it's not so much an academic type of study that looks at various factors of why you should, but it's going to be more of a consultative study working directly with those principals of the railroads, New York State Department of Transportation. It's going to be consultative type of study that will basically propose station sites and configuration. So without it, the city of Dunkirk will likely never be considered. This won't happen organically. We need to help. This is the opportune time with infrastructure funds that out there, and especially with $66 billion that has been granted to Amtrak. So we would propose to hire this consultant that specializes in railroad type of activities, and hopefully we can convince Amtrak and CSX and New York State Department of Transportation that Dunkirk is worthy of having a train stop.
Any other comments?
Yes, I just, this is unlike the study that was done 21 years ago. Is that not correct?
You are correct. That it's the feasibility study that was done in 2001 basically studied a building, whether it was suitable for an Amtrak station, and it was the existing CSX terminal at 3rd and Main. That building had significant structural issues 20 years ago, and if you just look at it, it's apparent that those issues haven't been addressed. There's also issues with how you would have gotten passengers up to the track level as a platform. It doesn't really meet Amtrak standards, what's presently there, and it's been blocked off. So this would be something completely different on the other side of the track that makes more sense for the track configuration and all the signaling.
Well, 20 grand is a nice chunk of change to dish out for a feasibility study. I want to make sure for the people of Dunkirk and us that we're not biting off more than we can chew, that it's just going to be locking into just the feasibility study, correct?
At this point, yes. And if it is found to be feasible, and in the respect that we have all the railroad's blessings to have a stop here, this will at least give us the opportunity to apply for additional grant funding to build this station out, and but it doesn't obligate the city to go any further other than to pursue Amtrak designating a stop in Dunkirk.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. The only comment I have is, $20,000 is still a lot of money. And ideally, we're supposed to look out for the taxpayers' money. And I hear a lot of ifs here. If this happens, if we can do this, if they get more routes. And I don't know. I still think it's a lot of money for ifs to move forward. I hope you're all right. We'll see where it goes. But I guess we'll see.
Councilman?
Yes,
Mr.
Councilman.
Mayor, do you have anything to add to Vince was saying about this project?
The only thing I'll add is what I've already stated at the workshop, that this is a regional impact. If we are successful, and again, there's an if in there, we know for sure that if we don't do this, that we will not be successful in bringing that train station here. Well, I can also tell you that this is a very competitive process. Westfield is also competing for this, and so I think that we should understand the regional impact that it'll have and how the city will benefit. I don't think that we as a team have actually proposed to you all the ways that the city could benefit. But there are numerous ways the city benefits. Number one is, as the lady that was here mentioned, you're going to have more pedestrian traffic coming through here. You're going to have people coming through. You know, there's going to be other partners that are going to come on board. This is the thing that we're trying to do. The $20,000 is seed money. It's not something that, that's not where it ends. This is where it starts. We're going to show that we're seriously interested in bringing this train station here, an Amtrak stop here to the city of Dunkirk. If we're able to do that, then it'll be tough for other communities to compete with that. In addition to that, we are looking to combine our efforts with other partners, including Immunity Bio, SUNY Fredonia, JCC, and others. So this is a bigger project. The county's definitely involved and definitely supports it. They have been at the table with us. Our development team is working with the county on this. And so I believe that with the support of Senator Schumer, that this is a very real possibility that the city can actually bring this in.
Thank you, Mayor.
Any other comments? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Laskoviac?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
With much regret, I will say aye, just as it's not, as long as it's not locking in us into anything other than a feasibility study.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
Aye. Carried.
Number 24, resolution authorizing execution of boardwalk lease for new tenant Mirna Zanetti, DBA Shorties on the Pier.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Laskoviac?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
Aye.
Number 25, resolution authorizing a public hearing regarding Community Development Block Grant COVID-19 response.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Muskoka.
I wanted to ask Vince, Director of Economic Development, if these funds are specific and why you chose what you did to use for these funds, which I think is a good idea, but why air quality in public facilities versus antiquated pipes, et cetera?
So basically, this funding opportunity was made aware to our department within the last 2 weeks by a consultant that has worked with the city and works very closely with Chautauqua County Planning and Industrial Development Agency, the Harrison Studio out of Lockport. And basically, they would be the consultants helping us to put together this application. And one of the eligible uses is to assist small businesses, 25 or fewer employees. And what we're, based on the guidelines, we're trying to put together a framework for a program that could assist businesses that have been negatively affected by COVID, and the bar is just basically showing how you have been affected through profit loss statements, income statements, tax returns, and so forth. To buy furniture, fixtures, and equipment that could basically make the business more resilient and have a better chance of survival. So we're looking at a grant program up to $60,000 per business at 100% grant without any match. We're also looking at this address air quality in public facilities, and we're still trying to get a little bit creative on that, quite frankly, as to find, I've been working with Randy and Mike and DPW. One of the potential uses is to purchase a generator, emergency generator, and I believe that has already been approved using ARPA funds. But if we can find another source and kind of reserve some of those funds for other bigger projects, as evidenced today here at this meeting, that would be fabulous. So we're also looking at the senior center. EJ and I will be meeting with that board this week and going over to the senior center and trying to find if there is some type of eligible project there that could fit in this program.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion, Council?
I just have one question on that. If there's going to be a follow-up through when these applications are being applied for and they're stating what they're going to be using the funding for, is there anybody from CDBG that's going to go around and check, or any kind of a committee to make sure they indeed do what they stated they were going to? I know there were issues on the last time that there was money given out to when COVID hit and businesses were at a loss, and they were supposed to meet some guidelines, and some of the places that got funding did not meet by the guidelines that were set forth, and no one checked on them. So I don't know. That's a concern. And I know it was before your time.
Yeah, I'm not aware of those specific businesses, but just from what I do know from discussions that we've had internally, it's more about providing just some documentation follow-up. I don't recall if there were uses that probably could be considered ineligible or, not appropriate.
Right.
But what we intend to do with this is there's also funding for administration and program delivery, and our consultant, we would basically have them run as much of it as they can, and with some local monitoring, like you said, would be necessary, and that's absolutely needs to be a part of the program. But we're trying to put all that together. We have a conference call with Homes and Community Renewal next week with our consultants in our department, EJ and Nicole and myself, and we're going to be pitching it and looking for guidance from them to how we need to structure this program.
It's just tough because you just hate to see when something like this is available that it would be abused. That's
absolutely, I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor, you have the floor.
I just want to publicly respond to the comments made by the councilwoman that there was no oversight. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I'm unaware of any issues where any awardees were not in compliance. If there are any issues, then I would be made aware of those.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
I'm sorry, Mayor, but you weren't in the stores. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Laskoviac?
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto?
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols?
Aye.
Councilmember at-large D'Amico?
Aye, carried. And then we got one walking under. Okay, yes, that's correct. So we're going to do the public hearing on 3/1/2022 at 5:15 p.m.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yes, it'll be March 1st, 2022 at 5:15 p.m. right here. You're welcome. Okay, let's go to the walk-in.
Excuse me, we have ARPA Stimulus Fund Use Allocation walk-in. The walk-in resolution number 26, 2022, February 15, 2022 by Council Members Bamanto, Nichols, and Laskoviac. excuse me, ARPA stimulus fund use allocations. Whereas Congress passed the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, which provides funds to states, counties, and municipalities to use for certain eligible uses and expenses. And whereas the City of Dunkirk administration and the Common Council have identified several use eligible under ARPA regulations and have approved them. And whereas per mutual consent, said funds shall be utilized in the following manner. Amount of $134,170 additional citywide cameras, $4,232 scanning, indexing of city archival vital statistics records, 43,300 lawnmowers. Therefore be it resolved that the Common Council approves the allocation of ARPA stimulus funds as outlined above.
Any discussion, council? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember At-large D'Amico.
Aye. Carried. New business.
That was.
That was it? Okay. Nothing else on that? Then let's go into the adjournment. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nichols. Can I have a second by Councilmember Ryan?
Councilmember Laskoviac.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Nichols.
Aye.
Councilmember At-large D'Amico.
Aye. We're adjourned.
Thank you, sir.
I thought I should.